Hi guys, my tomatoes have been in the ground for about a month now. I did get them put in a little bit later than I usually do. It's been a really wet spring. It seems like that we're getting rain almost daily. Sometimes it goes on and on and on for hours every day. Last night we had a tornado warning. There's been lots of thunderstorms, and it hasn't been the most idyllic weather for growing tomato plants, especially in clay soil, which gets very heavy and compacted when it's wet. Even with them getting planted later and all of that going on, I am pretty happy with their progress so far. I did have one issue with a plant. It was starting to get a really funky looking disease. It wasn't the usual septoria leaf spot and early blight that I get. At least it didn't really appear to be that. It happened very fast and it was spreading on the plant very fast. So I went ahead and just pulled out the entire plant, put it in a bag and threw it away. That was about a week ago, and so far none of the other plants seem to have picked up whatever that disease was, so we got rid of it and we got it out of the garden in time. I'm staking my plants a couple of different ways this year. For some of my plants I'm using the Florida weave method. This is a pretty good method of staking tomatoes, but my biggest complaint about it is once my tomato plants get a couple of feet taller than the T-post, the tops of the tomato plants flop over, and when the top of the plant flops over, it creates this area of foliage in the plant that is very thick, and where all that foliage is really thick is the areas of the plant that I tend to have the most problems with disease. Because those dense areas of foliage take longer to dry out after they get wet. So where I live, whether there's been rain or not, there's always a lot of dew in the morning. The other areas in the plant will dry out, and the very thickly packed areas of foliage will take a lot longer to dry out, which ends up being a nice little breeding ground for disease. To remedy the issue of my plants getting really tall using the Florida weave method and then flopping over and causing me problems later, I am growing some of my tomatoes up on this cattle panel arch. This way they will be able to grow as tall as they would like, and I won't have the issue of them flopping over. To get my plants to climb this arch, I'm taking the branches and just weaving them through the bars here as the plant grows taller. So, I don't do a ton of pruning on my plants, but I do prune them somewhat. I do like to prune the bottom. I want to create a nice air gap here so that air can circulate around my plants, and it'll help prevent some disease. It'll also help to prevent soil from splashing up onto your plant's leaves, which can cause disease. As you guys can see, I heavily mulch with straw. That also prevents a lot of soil splashback. But fungus spores for septoria and blight do come in on the wind. So putting a gap there is not going to prevent your plants from getting every single disease, but it can help protect them from diseases that are down in your soil. To create this air gap, I just cut off branches gradually as the plant's growing. I don't like to cut off too much at one time because, I don't know, I'm afraid it's going to be a little bit of a shock to the plant. And after all, the plants do need foliage for photosynthesis. So I just think it's better to do it gradually. Here is a little flower growing at the bottom of this plant. I'm definitely going to leave that on, and it will. If this becomes a tomato, it will benefit from the shade of all of the leaves that are above it. A lot of people like to prune off suckers, so let me show you what a sucker is. So right here, this is a main branch. And then we have another branch coming out this way. So right at this intersection, as you can see, there's a whole another branch forming right here. A lot of people like to take these out to increase airflow. Personally, I don't remove suckers unless the foliage in that area gets super thick and starts to look like that it might be a problem. And even then, a lot of times, I don't even remove the sucker. What I will do instead is remove some of the leaves in that general area of the plant, and that will help to create more airflow. Wherever a sucker is growing, you're going to get a brand new big branch, just like the rest of your branches, and it's going to get flowers on it. It looks like there's some flowers forming on this one too. More flowers means more fruit. So that's why I tend not to prune off a lot of my suckers. One of the reasons that I can get away with pruning such a small amount off my plants while living in a high humidity area is because I do use fungicide on my plants. I'll talk to you guys more about that in my next tomato growing video. Also keep in mind whether you are a person that prunes a lot or a person that doesn't prune at all or somebody that falls in between like me. It is important to always prune off any diseased foliage that you see on your plants. Next, I want to show you guys the dwarf tomatoes that I'm growing in containers. I am so happy with how these are looking at this point. This one is an indeterminate dwarf variety and it's dwarf confetti, so it grows to a determined set size, just like a determinate tomato, but these indeterminate dwarf tomatoes produce fruit all season long until the frost kills them off or until disease kills them off. This one is Uluru Otra, and if I remember correctly, this is a semi-determinate dwarf. And hiding under this foliage, it's kind of hard to see from the angle that you're at, I have several tomatoes growing on this Uluru Otra tomato plant. These are some lower branch tomato suckers that I took off, and I decided to put them in some water and let them grow some roots. I may or may not find room for them in the garden. I do have to replace the one plant that I ended up pulling out, the one that had the disease on it, so I'll put one of these once they start growing roots in its place. I also pulled this little volunteer out of my garden. It's a cute little potato leaf variety. I'm not sure which one. In the past couple of years, I've grown Daniels, which is a potato leaf, yellow brandywine, so it might be one of those. And that's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.